guys, it's me Jake here, and today we're going to be talking why this guy, Asta, is not a copy of Naruto, which is something that a lot of people will automatically bandwagon towards because they don't really either watch or read Black Clover. Now, they'll watch or read the first 3 or 4 chapters, which I will admit, chapters or episodes, you could kind of switch the two, but they do really take a lot of tropes from Naruto in those first few episodes, which is probably why people bandwagon onto it. But the story, characters, power system, everything is completely different, and yes, they do take tropes from Naruto, but tropes that were popularized by Naruto were not made by Naruto, and I'll get into that later on. But right now, I want to start off with characters. Now, the characters in Black Clover compared to Naruto are two completely different ends of the spectrum. But the characters in Black Clover are more of one trope. One would be a massive tsundere, and one would be a massive. I forgot the name for a shy one. I always forget names. If you know me, you know this. I am bad with names, but they will have a specific trope for characters, which you would think is not great, but every character has a different personality, and how they mesh is something that makes the story in Black Clover. Well, in Naruto, it's not really about the character interactions, it's more about the story it's revolving around, which is something that pushes Black Clover into a different direction than Naruto. Now, the characters in Black Clover, yes, you can kind of say are somewhat similar, but the thing is, when it comes to Asta and Naruto, they follow the normal shonen protagonist tropes. It's not that they are very similar in general, they're just similar to the other shonen, battle shonen protagonists. And I'm not going to just say shonen because there's the harem shonens, there's the sports shonens like Hinata from Haikyuu. There's so many different kinds of shonen, so I'm just going to whenever I say shonen in this video, just automatically assume I'm saying battle shonen, okay? Get back on topic. They're following the tropes of these battle shonen protagonists like Luffy, Gon, Yusuke. They're following their kind of tropes, but they are doing it in their own different ways. Now, yes, they do have similar things, like Asta here does have a devil grimoire, and Naruto has a devil inside of him, or, well, a tailed beast, which are more similar to the spirits in Black Clover than they are to devils. But they are also in Naruto less like devils than tailed beasts, like monsters in general, because they are very much not demons. But on Black Clover's end of the spectrum, they are actual demons, which you will not see for a little bit, but we know just from Asta's grimoire that they're actual demons. So that's two very big ends of the spectrum that are very different. Yes, Naruto has a demon inside of him, and yes, Asta has a demon grimoire, but how they are perceived are completely different. With Naruto being stuck with Kurama, and Asta's devil not even be given a name. We don't know what it is, who it is, anything about that. But the devil chose Asta. Naruto was stuck with Kurama because of who his parents were, while the devil for Asta has chosen him. So that's two very different ends of the devil spectrum, which is not really talked about when it comes to this discussion, is how they obtain the demon powers. Now, Asta doesn't really get to control his demon powers, it's more like his demon powers develop with him, so it's a little bit different from when Naruto just becomes better friends with Kurama, because we only see Asta really talking to his devil once. And that's it, and they don't become an actual connection as friends yet. So those are two very differing paths. Now, if we're going to go on to different characters, their rivals like Sasuke and Yuno are completely different. While Sasuke is looking for revenge for his family and going away from the Leaf Village, Yuno is doing the complete opposite, looking at Asta as a brotherly figure and actually wanting Asta just to become stronger, while Sasuke just wants to kill Naruto so he has all of his ties to the Leaf taken away. So that's two very different kinds of rivalries, and I do think that Yuno and Asta's is better in my opinion. They actually show way more brotherly bonds. They actually care for each other. They want to protect what they want, which is they want to become the Wizard King and they want to protect the Clover Kingdom because that. They want to become actual Magic Knights, not the corrupt ones. They want to protect everyone around them, which is something that isn't shown with Sasuke and Naruto. Naruto, yes, he wants to protect people, but he just wants to gain people's respect. Well, not Sasuke, it's just wanting to run away from the leaf and just kill every tie he has to the leaf. So it's two different rivalries. Now, if we're going to talk power systems, it's very different as well. Well, chakra and all the sub-genres like Genjutsu, Taijutsu, Ninjutsu are very in-depth. I think Black Clover's is better. Now, this is the difference. Black Clover's is a development of character which powers through their power system. It's not just, oh, I can just learn a jutsu from someone else teaching me. It's every single person. They might have the same element, but will learn different spells with that element based on their personality. So you might see, like, different fire users, like Fuegoleon and Magna, but you'll see them use their fire magic in very different ways. While Magna, or Magna's Swing, which is quite ironic because all of his magic is based towards baseball, like pitching, hitting a ball, everything is pitched towards baseball because his personality is kind of like that. He's a delinquent, he does all this, that, and the other thing. He's a very big baseball fan, I guess, but Fuegoleon uses it in a very different way. He has it way more controlled, he uses it to power through opponents with precise precision because he's a controlled, calm, collected person, which is two very different things, and how they develop is what powers through their power system instead of just learning things from other people. So you will never see someone using the same exact spell unless you're Raya. Of course, Raya is the only exception to this because his magic is copy magic, but you'll never see someone use the same exact spell with the same element. Also, with the differences in elements in Black Clover is way more differences in elements than Naruto. Naruto has different releases, different chakra types, everything like that. But the difference in magics in Black Clover can vary from steel magic to water magic to mercury magic to blood magic to gravitation magic to dark magic to light magic to anything you can think of, which is something that I think makes Black Clover such a great power system. And I did talk about this in my power system video, I'll link that down below. I definitely think I'm going more in depth in this than that. I think that video is a pretty meh video, but if you want to see more of like me talking about power systems, definitely go check that out. But yeah, I think that Black Clover's power system is probably one of the best power systems, if not the second best behind Nen, which is probably the overall best power system in Battle Shonen, period. But now, we're gonna go talking about the world. The world from Naruto compared to the world of Black Clover. Naruto's world is very sectioned off into different villages with a hidden leaf, hidden sand, hidden mist. Well, Black Clover is somewhat like that as well, but how they name them is not based off real life things like leaf, like rock, mist, sand, etc., etc. It's based off of the deck of cards, with the heart, spades, clover, and diamond. Those are the four kingdoms. Now, they are at a constant war where they're just trying to take territory, but not all of them. The Heart Kingdom is more of a passive one, the Spade Kingdom is a very aggressive one, and so is the Diamond Kingdom. But of course the Clover Kingdom is more of a neutral one that will automatically only attack if they're getting attacked, or if they get attacked inside of dungeon, or you see what I mean? Like, if they're getting attacked, they will attack back. They usually will not entangle themselves into a fight that isn't in their territory, while Diamond and Spade Kingdoms definitely will, which the Spade Kingdom will be shown pretty soon in the anime. So I hope you guys really enjoy that arc, because this arc in the manga, which is what they're getting into after this full arc, is so good when it comes to the Spade Kingdom, and you learn so much more about the world. So I'm not going to spoil too much, but basically, how the world works is, well, it's not really the world, but also the power system I'm going to basically explain for Black Clover compared to Naruto. Naruto, chakra amounts don't matter about who you are. You can get insane amount of chakra just for no reason. Yes, your clan does help you, like the Uchihas, the Senjus, the Uzumakis. They all have definitely very helpful things. Like the Uzumaki has a higher lifespan and large chakra pool. The Uchihas have very good genjutsu use, and they have Sharingans. The Hyogas have the Byakugan. I think they have decent amount of chakra pools, but like, you can have someone like Kisame with no clan knowledge. Like, no one else in his clan we know. And he is literally called the tailless tailed beast because of his chakra pool. Yes, and And yes, I'll say this, Naruto's chakra pool by itself without Kurama is also insane, which is kind of, kind of busted, which, if you think about Naruto's character, is basically just pure talent that had to be polished with hard work, which kind of just doesn't fit the whole entire theme in Naruto that is hard work over talent, because Naruto had a lot of things that were from his clans that were given to him. While in Black Clover, it's kind of similar, where royals have higher mana pools than the peasants, with nobles looking down at peasants because they have low mana pools, and even like the normal mid-wage people, they also just have good mana pools. They don't have amazing, they don't have too low, which is why we see Asta fighting to show people that peasants aren't weak. Why the Black Bulls are showing that peasants aren't weak, because they don't really have nobles outside of Noel, and I think it's Noel, Finral, and Gauche, I think, are the 3 from noble families, and Gray, I think, might, but Noel can't control her magic. Gauche, I really don't remember if he is from noble family, so I'm not going to say anything about that. Finral was not the best at his magic as well, and Gray was beaten, pushed away. So it's very different, because Asta's trying to show people that just because we're failures doesn't mean we can't work hard and become strong, which is something that Fuegoleon states very early on, is staying weak. Being weak is not something to be ashamed of, but staying weak is, which is something that not many people in Black Clover actually state or actually think until Asta and Yuno try to show them that peasants can do something. Well, that's their whole entire goal. They want to show people peasants are not just someone to be thrown aside. That's why they want to be Wizard King. They want to prove it to people. Well, Naruto is just trying to get attention throughout the whole story. Naruto just is trying to get attention and respect from as much as he can. With him as a kid, he just was a delinquent, painting everywhere, doing everything he could to try to get attention. But as he grew up, he noticed he wanted respect from the village, not just attention, because negative attention isn't great. So that's basically his whole goal onto becoming the Hokage, which is 2 very differing, looks at to become the Hokage / Wizard King. They both have very different roles in their world and very different ways to try to get to the top, which is something that I really enjoy about Black Clover compared to Naruto, is how they're psychologically trying to prove to people what they're made of. Asta's trying to show it for the people, while Naruto's trying to do it for himself, which is something I love. Now, if we're going to go on we're just going to say this. I think Black Clover is just a combination of multiple shonen tropes, while people just automatically assume it's a Naruto trope. Because I'm going to say this, I think people don't get that Naruto popularized tropes, but they also did copy a lot of tropes from earlier on shonen. Like I said earlier, One Piece, Hunter x Hunter, Yu Yu Hakusho, Dragon Ball. They all had a mix of things, mostly Hunter x Hunter. Hunter x Hunter was probably the biggest thing that Kishimoto took inspiration off of, because of the comparisons of Gon and Naruto, Sasuke and Kurapika, etc., etc. You can kind of see the very big similarities, like Killua and Kakashi are kind of similar, but not really. But you can kind of see the similarities between those series very much. But instead of comparing Black Clover to those older shonens that Naruto is taking the tropes from, they compare it to Naruto and say it's a copy because the tropes are popularized by Naruto and popularized by Dragon Ball. But they're not just copying from Naruto, they're taking tropes from most of the big 3, which is something that most new age shonen are doing, like My Hero, Jujutsu Kaisen, Demon Slayer. They're all taking very big tropes from the big 3, because why wouldn't they? The big 3 were probably some of the most selling manga, with the number one manga being One Piece for volumes sold. They're gonna take inspiration from them. They definitely read them, they definitely enjoy them, they definitely just are taking inspiration, but that's not copying. Now, Asta and Naruto, completely different. They have 2 different lifestyles, 2 different thought processes. Yes, they both trained hard. I think Asta probably trained way harder than Naruto. I'm gonna be so honest. Naruto trained way less than Asta. If you think about it, Asta literally trained so hard that base form, nothing added to him. He's one of the strongest characters in the show. William Vengeance thought he had speed magic. Now, saying that, you might think, well, wow, that's not anything special. Vengeance is insanely strong and fast. To make him think you have speed magic just purely off human training alone is something that's so difficult. Now, Naruto doesn't train like that. He trains in a way to kind of control his chakra and do these things like Sage Mode and all that different stuff. But overall, in Naruto, original Naruto, we don't see as much training as we do in Black Clover, because every single time Asta is not in a fight, he's wanting to do push-ups, he's wanting to do this, he's wanting to do that. He is just having an insane work ethic, which is shown not in, I think is the most hardest work ethic out of every shonen, like battle shonen protagonist is Asta, which is something that isn't talked about when it comes to the differences. Asta legit worked for almost everything he's had other than his grimoire, which was literally the demon choosing him purely because of how hard he's working, and him being one of the only people a demon can choose because it drains mana whenever it's getting grabbed by someone that actually has it. So he got lucky because he didn't have mana, but he trained his butt off to be able to get that demon to choose him. Now, Naruto was just given a demon that was insanely strong. Now, and I say insanely strong, I mean, it can take out with 50% of its power, almost, I think it said 7 of the tailed beast, which is something stupidly strong in the series that was just given to him. Now, yes, you can say that for Asta, but even in later on in Black Clover, they actually state that Asta's demon is probably a low-tier demon. So it's not even a strong demon. It's just that his demon is trying to work with Asta without really talking, just to make them both strong throughout their hard work and their ethic, which is something I really enjoy. Now, you still might think that Black Clover and Naruto are very alike. I'm not trying to sway you to say they're nothing alike. They definitely have similarities through tropes, but I will say that I don't think Black Clover is a copy of Naruto, purely for everything I have stated. So, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I hope I see you guys next time, and peace!